And big name here, Gary O'Donovan in lane 4 for Ireland. Brazil, Sweden, Belgium and Uruguay joined the Irish Olympic silver medalists in this second repechage of the lightweight men's single sculls. This was then off the start earlier, and it's interesting to see how Gary O'Donovan will recover from what we imagine was that psychological disappointment of yesterday, where he just stopped rowing with 750 metres to go in the race, Greg.
That's right, Gary O'Donovan yesterday was right in it with about 500 to go, but he'd used up too much energy, had to take it easy and save his energy for today. It'll be okay if he can get through today, but he'll be very disappointed if he now misses out on one of these top 2 places. If the first race we've seen is anything to go on, then he's going to have to work hard. As we have a look here at Philip Nilsson of Sweden, making a pretty decent start there, but we haven't been able to see the rest of the field. In a second we're going to go live, and we'll see just what impact this has made.
Swede, 23 years of age, and you can see he's over there on lane 2.
And what I can tell you is that at 500 gone, Gary O'Donovan was in the lead ahead of Thibaut Vinet, the Belgian sculler, who was in second. But it's still all fairly close. Again, let's remind you, only 2 to qualify for the quarter-final.
And I guess the Irish team would want to turn out in force, the supporters, the coaches, the athletes, if they can, to cheer on Gary O'Donovan, to give him an absolute lift. And I'm sure his brother Paul, if he's not watching on the course, will be watching this presentation with his doubles partner Fintan, and cheering on Gary O'Donovan. Took a big hit yesterday, and it's up to him to win this race, boost his confidence for that quarter-final, that crucial quarter-final. Only 1 and 2 will go through to the quarter-final. Thibaut Vinet is in second place, the Belgian, but only just, you can see, from the Uruguayan Bruno Getraro. And then over there, Uncas Batista, the familiar Brazilian athlete, over there in lane 1.
We have a look at Gary O'Donovan here. He's got himself into a good position. Still looks like he's working pretty hard to get the speed. He's got his feet really high up.
Really high up in the boat. What do you reckon that's all about?
I'm not quite sure, and his blade work really looks like it goes a little bit deep, comes from a bit high, goes a bit deep, and then comes a bit loose. Sorry to be too harsh on his technique, but it's interesting.
I would have thought, actually, you really want your feet set quite low to have a low push, but clearly that's something his coach Dominic O'Casey has worked with him on, and perhaps that allows him to come up, to slide easily more up to the front stop.
Well, it's very different to what we see here when we think about words like a flat draw. And you see that the feet are a bit lower as we look here at the Belgian sculler Vivet, and yeah, it's just a bit flat, a bit more compact, a bit more controlled looking, with the force being applied, I guess, more horizontally, are the sort of words that coaches use. It just looks slightly different from Gary O'Donovan, with a little bit more vertical movement going on.
Uncas Batista over there on the far side, the Brazilian, we've talked about him. There he is, under 23 world champion back in Poznan last year in 2017. Absolute quality sculler in that race, and would really expect him to go through in one of the 2 qualifying places. Belgian Vivet just taking a look across. He's tracked the Brazilian. He's the man he needs to follow, and the 18-year-old Belgian knows that he's in a real race. Vivet was in this year's under-23s in the lightweight men's double, where he finished 5th. He's come into the single for this World Championships, and this is his big race. The 18-year-old Belgian, has he got what it takes to track Uncas Batista from Brazil? Gary O'Donovan is out and gone. Much better scull from the Irishman today, Greg.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Martin. I think Gary O'Donovan's got this one, unless something was to go badly wrong. He looks up at the head of the field, but we thought we were going to be in for some good racing this afternoon. The first race was close the whole way to the line, and I still wouldn't be surprised to see some sprint finishes coming in front of us, because it is just 2 places to qualify for the quarter-final.
It's hot out there for these athletes, isn't it? All weighed in at a maximum of 72.5 kilos. Uncas Batista, the Brazilian, in second place there. Just able to look around, gaze around, just see what's going on in the course around him, help his awareness into the last quarter of the race. About 300 metres to go now.
And I think what he'll see is that he's got a reasonable lead now over this man from Belgium. That if you look at those distances in the bottom right of your screen, it's a 20-metre gap also to Gary O'Donovan, but he's also got 15 metres or so in that safely in that second position with 250 metres to go. So whilst they will try to reel him in, they'll try to sprint. He's looking pretty solid there for that second qualifying place.
We're looking at the race for second, third and fourth, 2 to go through the wake of Gary O'Donovan. You can perhaps see it as they come into the red boys for the last 250. The Irishman from Skibbereen is well out in front. Not the type of performance we saw yesterday in the heats where Gary O'Donovan just knocked it on the head in the middle of the race. Here is a much needed boost to his confidence. We're looking at the Swede there, Philip Nielsen.
And he looks really smooth, doesn't he, Philip Nielsen? But he hasn't quite got the power and acceleration that he needs to get up into the top positions. He just pushes through to third, but it's not going to be enough.
So Gary O'Donovan, the 26-year-old, comes in across the line. He can afford to ease off this time. It's better easing off there than easing off with 7.50 to go, I'll tell you that for nothing. Lucas Batista takes the second qualifying slot for the quarter-final in the second Repechage light women single sculls. The Swede comes through in third. Just heads Thibaut Vivet, the Belgian. It must feel a lot different for that man there today.
I think you're right. That we take a look now at Philip Nielsen sculling very tidily. Here we see Gary O'Donovan. Gary, I'm sorry if I'm giving you technical advice. I'm not really qualified. I'm sure your coach has got a much better view than Martin and I have sitting here, but we try to give whatever insight we can to try and explain what people are looking for and what might be making you go fast. I guess what we know is you have plenty of heart, plenty of determination, and he really